Welcome to Classic Retro Corner. Today we're looking at Headhunter on the Dreamcast. Headhunter is a third-person shooter originally released on the Dreamcast in 2001. It later found its way onto the PlayStation 2 in 2002. Headhunter is set in the near future, where criminals are not just serving time, but are having their organs removed and transplanted into the rich and wealthy citizens. Because of this, conventional weapons have been banned, and replaced with electric neural projectile weapons to prevent damage to criminals during their apprehension. You play as Jack Wade, a top headhunter who has lost his memory after escaping a secret laboratory. With his headhunting license now revoked, you will have to play some Lear missions, which are virtual reality tests, to get your license back before you can head out and capture some of the most dangerous criminals in the city. In some places this game reminded me of Resident Evil. The way that some of the rooms inside buildings have almost set camera angles that don't always show you as much as you would like to see, but that's as far as the comparison goes. Personally, I would rather be playing Resident Evil or Resident Evil 2, as they have better paced stories and Headhunter is very slow going at the start. With not much of the storyline being revealed, you are thrown into the VR training missions, which pushes the storyline out of play for quite some time. These VR missions were pretty annoying, as they all have set time limits to complete them in. On some missions I found myself failing when I tried to do a silent takedown on a target and my character rolled in front of them instead, as stupidly takedown and roll are mapped to the same button. Although the worst part of the control system has to be given to the motorbike you used to get around the city. The controls were pretty standard, with the triggers on a Dreamcast controller giving you good and accurate control over your speed, but the bike was very sluggish to steer and at times it felt like it had a mind of its own. The main part of the game consists of you completing missions by collecting bounties, also while engaged in these missions uncovering parts of your forgotten past. The gameplay in the beginning missions is very one-directional in the order you have to play through them. Most of the level will be locked off until you can solve some puzzles that let you go in further. One thing that I found very handy was the unlimited ammunition your main weapon has. Although it is a very weak weapon and takes quite a few shots to take a bad guy down, you don't have to worry about running out of ammunition halfway through a fight. Overall, I did enjoy playing this game. Once I got past the sometimes awful camera angles and the crappy motorbike controls, it was a good game to play through. That was until I died during a mission without saving it, and having to start the mission again with all the puzzles reset, which I managed to do a few times, but honestly I was more frustrated at myself for not learning after the 2 or 3 times I'd done exactly the same thing before. But I can't blame the game for that, but a checkpoint system throughout missions would have been really handy. Out of the PlayStation 2 and Dreamcast versions, I definitely preferred the Dreamcast release, as the controls seemed to suit the control pad better. Even with all its faults, this game is still worth a playthrough, as the graphics are not too dated and the loading times are pretty good. There was also a sequel to Headhunter called Headhunter Redemption that carries on the story when this game finishes. It was released on the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox, but sadly no Dreamcast version was made, as the console was almost dead and buried by the game's release in 2003. I hope you enjoyed this review of Headhunter on the Dreamcast. Please feel free to like the video or subscribe to the channel. Also head over to our website or Facebook group for more reviews and updates.